Hello everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to another Saturday craft day with Kraftgali. We are going to be playing with this Hero Arts sweater die, and it's sort of like a fun holiday sweater pattern, and we're going to see how we can get multiple cards out of this one die just by switching up some pattern paper. So if you're like me and you have a gazillion pieces of pattern paper in your stash, maybe this could help you use up some of that. So I'm going to pull out my fancy die here from Hero Arts, and I am going to select what paper that I want to use. Now I have truckloads of 6x6 paper pads because I'll go to the craft store and I'll see something hanging on the side and it's like 50% off. I'm like, well, of course I'm going to use this. Like, why would I not? That would be preposterous to have things into my craft room that I wouldn't use. So I buy it, and then 3 years later, I make a card with a bunch of pattern paper here for you all. Okay, so that's the story behind all that. I've picked out my pattern paper, and I actually had the kids help me pick this out. I gave them a 6x6 paper pad and said, pick 4 sheets. And so I'm just making what they chose as well. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut all of these. I'm not going to show you the whole process for everything, just bits and pieces of it. But as I'm doing that, very simply, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this being my very last Saturday craft day with Kraftgali. Yes, unfortunately, I won't be designing anymore for Kraftgali. Maybe Princey will have me for a guest design spot every now and again, but as it were, I will not be doing a consistent video on the channel. However, there will be someone stepping in my place, so I will tell you all about that in just a second. But before I tell you about that great news, I want to stop here for a second and show you how sometimes paying attention to your die cutting is crucial. So does anyone notice anything wrong with this piece of cardstock here? Yeah, it's upside down. It's completely upside down. I don't know how I even noticed it. Maybe because it says "oh" instead of "ho ho ho." So it's a surprise Christmas sweater. It's saying "oh," all right, that one's out. But I picked up the next one and I did it again with the reindeer. So just, I guess you gotta watch what you're doing when you're crafting. Also, I did mention the kids were in the room, so I definitely make mistakes when the children are around. So add this to the blooper reel. We'll see this one again in the future. Okay, moving on a little bit about the card process here. I am going to take out some other card bases that I've had in this size. Forgive me, I don't know what size this is offhand. I'll put it on the screen. But I have a bunch of card bases. Probably got them on sale again at the craft store, and I'm finally using them up. But to fancy them up a little bit, I'm going to take some Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going to get this really pretty shadowed look around the edges. So the flicking, or what did we used to call it? Was it called a flicking technique, where it was like you make the edges of the cardstock a little bit of put a little ink on it? I don't remember what that was called. I think flicking, but we have definitely brought that trend back in full effect. So I see this all over and I love it. I love that it's kind of like a highlight in the center and it just gives it such a wow. So anyway, I'm going to put some water on that and then some white picket fence from Ranger, and I'm going to just drop some white on it like it looks like snow. So you can kind of watch me do that. Okay, so I do have someone taking over the Saturday craft day segment, and that will be Tana Lowhouse. So Tana Lowhouse, go check out her channel. You're going to see Kraftgali videos every Saturday posted from her, and I have to tell you, some of the best cards I've ever seen come out of Tana Lowhouse. She's super talented. So you can check that out, and that will begin, I believe, I'll put it on the screen when, but I want to say that Kraftgali, the store, will be closed during November. And so you can check out the next video up on Tana's channel. However, in the meantime, go check her out. I'll link below, subscribe, and you can see what she's making in the meantime. Okay, so you can see here I'm taking my paintbrush and I'm flicking some white onto the card to make it look like snow. Now, not all of my cards kind of matched that brown theme, so I'm going to go in with some blueprint sketch and some just black distress oxide. And I'm going to do the same exact technique, but with these two colors. And this is actually going to make some of those sweaters that have more of the matching colors to this work out a little bit better. So I get all my ink done. I do all the ink because I'm doing a assembly line process here. So I do every piece of what I'm doing, all of them, and then go to the next part, and then so on and so forth. So when I get done ink blending these cards, I think I might have had just 4 of them. So, and apparently I'm keeping that all in the video for you. So if you all know how to edit a video, if you've ever done it, sometimes it's hard to see what you're doing because when you're doing a voiceover, it's a really tiny screen. Anyway, I digress. Okay, back to the snow. Now I have this little plastic sheet. It's a baking sheet from the Dollar Tree that I cut down and rounded the corners. And I don't know if it's because it's flexible and not an acrylic block, but it has given me amazing snowdrops. It's kind of like flicking in the flexible, off the flexible plastic. And you saw that. It was like giving me amazing results. So I have all of those done. Now I'm just kind of matching up my pattern paper to the background that I want and to kind of make it match. So the center of that sweater is a Christmas tree, and it could pop out or you can keep it in. So it's kind of like you have to pull it out just a little bit, almost like it's perforated. So it can stay in, that's fine, or you can pop it out really easily and use it for you know, as an accent piece. So what I'm doing is I'm popping those trees up on all of these. Now I'm not going to let them all match though. So I'm actually going to kind of cross match them. So if I feel like you can get away with the sweater matching a different background, that's what I'm doing. So just making sure that I can kind of make it work. It's going to look different, but that's the idea because I want the tree to stand out. So onto my sentiment here, I'm going to pull out some mirror cardstock and I'm going to run through my mini die cutting here. This is the Spellbinders Prizm, I think it's called. And I'm just going to run that through. This is a die from Concord and Ninth I got a long time ago, and I use it every holiday series. So I'm going to make a bunch of those and put them all over as my sentiment. Again, assembly line, keeping it simple, and just kind of so that I can go through the process pretty quickly. Keep in mind when you're using mirror cardstock, it can get really smudgy on the front, and you're actually going to see some of those smudges in the pictures. I didn't see them until it was really quite close up. And so it's not a huge deal, but you can just wipe those away with maybe a clean cloth or a baby wipe. Just be careful you don't, wipe up your project while you're doing it. I am using art glitter glue for the back of my sentiments, and I love this stuff still. I did a glue review months and months ago, and this came out as one of the top 3 choices. It's the same bottle, and it's maybe not even halfway done. So I can't say enough good things about this glue. I know people have warned only buy it in the warmer weather, not the winter, or else they won't ship it. So it's getting to be about there, people. So if you want your AGG, you got to get on it. Okay, here are 3 cards that I did not do as the first ones. These are different. I used glitter cardstock on the back of those, and I used some other pattern paper, and I just thought that added a little bit something extra. Instead of popping a tree up, I sort of subdued the tree behind. And that will do it for these cards. So before I go, I want to talk very briefly about what Kraftgali has meant to me. I started my YouTube channel in 2016. In October of that year, and about a year later or so, maybe a little bit more than that, I finally got the courage to apply to a design team. And Kraftgali, Princey, the owner, was gracious enough to give me a chance. I didn't have that many followers. I didn't have much of a presence in the community, but she gave me a chance. And since then, I have learned so much about the process. I've learned about the community. I've learned about how to grow, how to just do things better over the course of that time with her. So I attribute a lot of my growth to my experience on the design team with Kraftgali, with Princey. I appreciate her so much. She has been lovely to work with, And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you all for your support and for hanging out with me every Saturday morning. You're probably still going to see me on Saturday mornings. I think it's a good day to post. But if you have any questions for me whatsoever, you know what the comment section is for. And I will list what I used in this video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to head over to Tana Lowhouse's channel, check her out, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.